Agile. Welcome back to A Celtic State of Mind. I'm Paul John Dykes. Tonight I'm joined by Kevin McCloskey, Kevin Graham and Lawrence Connolly. It's half-time. Celtic lead Motherwell by 1-0, and it's been all Celtic in that first half, but Kevin Graham, it's a precarious lead when you come in at half-time, just one goal up.
It is, even though you're saying we've been in control, I'm actually feeling a bit meh about the performance, truthfully. I think it's alright performance, no great. A lot of places where we can improve, but we didn't look in any danger, and that's my worry is that we do the same as what we done against Dundee United. We just sleepwalk through the second half. We need to up it. We're a bit wasteful in certain places. We are a bit wasteful in certain places, and it was just a bit meh. We're 1-0 up. If we're still 1-0 up at the end of the game, I'll be very, very happy. But at the moment, I'm just
Oh, what?
Like that. Meh.
Just didn't fall out with anybody, Kev. I was going to bring this up because anybody watching on Motherwell television will have noticed the dulcet tones of Jock Brown. It's a wee throwback to back in the day when Jock Brown was a simple commentator before he joined up at Celtic. And obviously, your view of Jock Brown changed quite a bit when he became a member of Fergus McCann's team. Lawrence, Kevin says he's a bit meh about that first half, and I think, when you're looking at the way that Motherwell have kind of lined up, they look as though they're maybe doubling up on Jota. They're trying to snuff out his influence in the game. You look at the work of O'Reilly in that midfield, and Moy, by the way. I think Moy's had a decent first half. And we've tried to create. We have managed to breach their backline a few times. But it's as much down to the way that Motherwell have actually lined up as it is about Celtic not creating the chances. Because I do think we have stuck to our principles in that first half, but we've actually come up against a fairly well drilled Motherwell side in the first half.
Yeah, I think we've been a bit slow and pedestrian. I don't know. Is that the principles when they say so? We've had 2 shots in target. It's it's not the rip roaring free scoring, never bowling, is it? I'm okay. I think it's been a wee bit pedestrian. 2 shots in target. I'm expecting a lot more from Ansball. But yeah, Motherwell have set up well. I suppose you could say they've limited their chances, but we normally find a way to get, a few more shots in target in that 45 minutes. I think we only got 6 shots at goal the whole 45 minutes, only 2 in target. Yeah, you'd want us to up the tempo a bit, I think. I think we've been playing at a slow tempo there.
Slow tempo, how do you do that, Kevin McCluskey? How do you up that tempo in the second half?
So I think it's difficult against a team like Motherwell, the way they've been set up. They're kind of playing like an away team tonight. They're set up to do that thing where they're happy to keep it almost it being 1-0 down, because the way we've been playing, we've been pretty dominant and with possession, but there's been so many slack passes that we've made tonight that's been unusual for us. Guys like Taylor, Hatate, Juranovic making poor passes, that they're not out of it. They've created nothing, but they're not out of the game yet. Like, we could actually give them a chance to get back in the game, and it is because of the way they're set up, just to stifle our play. So we probably need to look to the bench at some point and maybe get somebody like Maeda or Haksabanovic on, someone with a bit of pace again, creativity, fresh legs, someone that'll just try something a bit different and force them to change their setup.
Now, it's interesting you're talking there about some of the slack passing. I noticed that certainly in the first 5-10 minutes, where a lot of our passes were going astray. Stephen Sloan comes in on the YouTube. Decent first half, just need to be more accurate with our passing in the second. Moy's best half, asks Ridiculizer. I'll come to you, Kev Graham. There's a lot of comments coming in about Moy. It's decorating Moy, been very good so far. Celtic in complete control of the game. Aaron Moy, his Celtic career has been one that I think initially there was a lot of Celtic fans looking at the signing as being quite underwhelming, but he has worked his way into the side. Part of that is, I guess, down to the fact that McGregor's been injured, but I would agree with that. I think he's had a very accomplished first half performance, Aaron Moy.
There'll be 2 ranges of opinions here. I'll say that he's been absolutely fabulous, just to annoy John Hughes Jr., who really doesn't like Aaron Moy, so I'll say that he's been absolutely brilliant. And John Hughes Jr. would probably say he's playing against a bunch of plant pots who have got no no danger to try to attack. So there's two bits there. Look, he's a tidy enough player, and he can play under control in games like the night. He's looking good because but he's looking good alongside Hatate in this midfield. Hatate's completely off it tonight. Moy has been decent tonight, but I would want a guy with his pedigree to be completely dominant against Motherwell. And I would say no offence to Motherwell, but I do probably mean that with offence to Motherwell. You would expect Aaron Moy to be completely dominating the game. The way Motherwell are playing is shocking for a team at home, but we're only 1-0 up, and that is a worry. What you might find, I've kened nothing about football tactics, but they might do a Dundee United, where after about 70 minutes they might actually decide to go for it. If it's still 1-0, they might decide to go for it for two or 3 minutes and see if they can sneak something.
Talking of Dundee United, the other half-time results are in, Kev. Dundee United are beating Kilmarnock 3-0. Obviously, we know that Celtic are up 1-0 against Motherwell. Rangers and Hearts is goalless. And St Mirren and St Johnstone are drawn 1 apiece. The difference, I think, with the Dundee United comparisons, and like you say, we did sleepwalk, Kev, quite a bit, but I felt our rhythm was affected by the VAR decision and the situation we were in with Bernabei. Then we've had to change at half-time as a result of that VAR decision and the booking and the fact that it seemed to get to Bernabei quite a bit. So I would say that there were other issues in that game that kind of forced us into a kind of style of play. We had to be shot out of that, and thankfully we were. Clouter, Kyogo the goal scorer, the physio and the comforter. I need comfort after listening to Jock Brown. Our opinion of Jock Brown has changed. You know, Jock Brown the commentator, Lawrence, versus Jock Brown the character that ended up at Celtic. They're two different characters, aren't they?
Aye, indeed. I think it's Bobby Robson lined up at one point. He came up and be a manager, did he? Jock Brown.
Yeah. He did quite a few decent deals. Obviously, he didn't identify players, but he'd done a few decent deals, didn't he, in his time at Celtic?
It seemed to stem the leaks coming to Celtic Park.
Yes. Yeah, that was always an issue.
He's done a fairly decent job. You know, if he's appointed by Fergus, you know, what more do you need? He was the man.
Yep, Fergus was the man. Vincey 3, scared to say we are in control. Only scared because it's just a 1 goal, I think. Now, I'm going to bring this up because this is the point I was trying to make earlier on. I do think that Motherwell have been pretty decent. I mean, one of the observations from that first half was Jota, who loves to come in and side and strike, and he's got a few goals as a result of that. When he's doing it, he's just being outnumbered, he's being snuffed out, and they're obviously looking at Jota and Abada as being danger men on the wings. But as you said, Lawrence, we need to find a way. Again, I wouldn't expect any changes at half-time. I would expect that in the usual kind of fullness of time. Kevin McCluskey, the only reason we made the change against Dundee United was because it looked as though Bernabei, he was walking a tightrope, wasn't he? It's not something that you would expect. I know we took off Abada against Real Madrid at half-time, but it's not an MO of Ange Postecoglou's. Would you expect anything to happen just now or at the 65-minute mark as has been his kind of routine?
Yeah, I wouldn't expect him to make any changes at half-time. I don't think there's any need to either. Because we've been so much in control, and as we're saying, the only way we're not overly confident just now is because it's only 1-0. If we'd managed to sneak a second goal, we'd be sitting here thinking the second half's a cakewalk. We'll just kind of control it. We need a second goal for sure, but I don't think he'll make any changes just now. I think he'll wait until the 65 minutes. That's how he normally plays it, and then you'll see probably 3 players coming on. You'll get Giacomakis, Haksabanovic and another will probably come on around about that time. That'll give us fresh impetus going into the final 25-30 minutes of the game. There's no need to rush into making changes just now. We're fairly comfortable.
I'm going to go back to Lawrence's pedestrian comment, Kev, and I've used this previously, but sometimes, and I've seen it a lot more often, I've got to say, when Jens was partnered with Carter Vickers, the 2 centre-halves miss out the midfield, go straight to the wingers. And you've seen how effective it was when Carter Vickers and Jens kept going straight to Haksabanovic. It gets Motherwell or the opposition on the back foot. Is that the answer? Is that what we need to start doing? Be a wee bit more direct? It's not a long ball game. It's just, the diagonal pass out to Abada and Jota.
I think it's just the quickness of the pass, as Lauren says. I think we need to be quicker in the pass. I mean, there was a time in that first half there when Starfelt broke free and Atati found space, which he always seems to do absolutely fantastically. And they played the ball and he sort of stood on it and he looked like me playing five-a-sides and like just didn't look really interested. And you're going, no, we need to play it quicker. The space is there, but I don't think the sharpness is there tonight. And I'm interested in what Kevin's comment about the subs there. I says this afternoon and also on Saturday, I thought Angie's subs were a bit predictable and he took off guys who were actually having good games, and because he makes the same sort of change. And tonight, I'm having a look at that team. I think you could take off two of the wide men and Atati. I think if he's going to make the three subs, they would be the three I would be looking to come off deservedly, actually. In the due to the first half performance, but there's been a couple of them have just been a bit middling. They're turning in a 5, 6 out of 10 performance, and when you're only 1-0 up, it's a bit worrying, especially when you've got Wally Collum who sees things that nobody else actually sees in charge. But we've got to get over that. We've got enough on the bench to actually do it. So. It's just maybe having a look like a wee game too many for us, if you can what I mean. It's a leggy game, eh?
Kev, I'm glad you said that because I was almost about to say something similar about Hatate. There's quite a lot of comments coming in about Hatate looking off it. You mentioned it as soon as we started the half-time. Do you think, I'll throw this on to yourself, Lawrence, it could well be that Hatate is one of these guys that really could be doing with this break leading into the winter months?
Yeah, I would take Hatate and Abada off at half-time, get Forrest, Abelgard on. Yeah, I think he's looked a wee bit off it. He's been waiting on the ball a couple of times rather than going to meet it.
Yeah, the Starfelt one that led to the chance, absolutely, yeah.
So, yeah, I think he's looking off it tonight. You get Jamesy on, get Abelgard on, and yeah, hopefully freshen up a wee bit and give us a bit more impetus. It looks, no one's really making things happen for us out there, is it? It's just, as I said, it's just pedestrian, yeah, we're going up and it's, Motherwell sitting fairly deep, aren't they? They're sticking to the game, but you've got to make something happen. You've got to move the ball quicker. And
yeah,
even Greg's been a bit wasteful tonight. Not like him, a few stray passes from him as well. But yeah, for me, get Forrest on, Abada off, get Abelgard on, get Hatate off, change up at half time.
We'll talk about the goal in a second, but one of the things that came to mind when you were talking there, Lawrence, was that pass from Starfelt to Hatate. And initially, in real time, you think Starfelt's at it again, but when you see the replay, it's Hatate sleeping, isn't he? He doesn't go to the ball. I think O'Donnell kind of dispossesses him, plays in Van Veen, and it's a decent chance for Motherwell in the first half. But we will talk about the goal because, again, another player, we spoke about Joe Hart at the beginning of the game, about the fact he was getting a bit of stick for his performances. So too, not that long ago, Kevin McCluskey was Kyogo. Kyogo was getting a bit of a hard time. He was going through a bit of a rough patch, even though he was still quite prolific when you look at his record. He opens the scoring tonight. How well did Matt O'Reilly do for that goal, by the way?
Oh, he was fantastic. He was absolutely fantastic. He's fast becoming my favourite player in that team. He's got everything about him in the midfield. I think it said during one of the Champions League games, I had my concerns about him going back to playing the Callum McGregor role. I'm loving him in there now. He's absolutely just grown into that within a month or 2 months of playing it. He looks like he's born to play as a kind of deep lying playmaker type. But for that goal, his determination just to win the ball back after his heavy touch, the vision again, just to slide it across with Kyogo. It's a brilliant goal. And it kind of sums those two players up really well, I think. The determination is O'Reilly through and through, and then kind of a bit of a poacher's finish in a way, a goal scorer's finish from Kyogo, and that's what he is. He'll go through spells when he doesn't score because all strikers do, but it doesn't make him a bad player. And then he'll come back in and he'll get you that goal. And if we win this game 1-0 tonight, he's won us the 3 points. Yeah,
absolutely. Now, when you look at Matt O'Reilly and how he has impressed Kevin McCluskey, I'll come to you, Kev Graham. What happens when Callum McGregor is back fit? Where do you play Matt O'Reilly then?
He just moves up one, That's it. It's that simple. He's doing a shift for us there. He was absolutely fantastic for the goal. He's doing a shift there, but that's Callum McGregor's role, so I think it's just an easy shift up.
Right, straight back into the same position. Would you agree with that, Lawrence, or do you give Callum a bit more freedom in an advanced role?
I say I'd love to see Callum playing forward. I think he's wasted at the back. I think I'd leave it Riley there. He's doing well. See what Callum can give us further forward.
So we've actually got two people not agreeing. That's tremendous. Half-time, Celtic 1, Motherwell 0. We'll go back to the action. We did manage to get through that without Kevin Graham falling out with anybody, which is astonishing. Sensational bit of broadcasting from Kev Graham once again. Thanks everybody for getting involved, and we'll see you at full time. Thanks for joining us on A Celtic State of Mind.